Donald Rubinstein's score is brilliant with it, and he just captured the mood and the tone, I think, of the film beautifully. But I think the fact that it's a quiet film is what provides the tension and impact in the film, especially when Martin does anything that is of a aberrant nature.
But getting back to your point, George was always kind of spontaneous, and as Mark alluded to, he allowed freedom, change.
Yeah.
He was the author, so
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it right there on set and say, yes, I will change my script. I found out many years later when I actually did a transcript for Richard Rubinstein of Martin, that there were a lot of variations that we went through that didn't quite realize at the time, even though we're following page after page. So. But that, again, is the joy of working with the author of a script, who's also the director.
Yeah, that really helps. That helps a lot.
And George would never want to be so vain to say, you've changed my lines, my God.
Yeah, no. And I have to say that, honestly and truly, I mean, George really mentored me. If I did a good job, it was because I had a great mentor. And I feel the same way about Michael. I trusted Michael explicitly when I had to work in front of the camera. And I always, that trust, again, trust with your collaborator really means a whole lot when you're working on a creative project. So, there you go. How about that?
Got one more question for you guys.
Okay.
Well, speaking of that, your dependence on each other to make the film work, I remember there in the scene where Martin breaks into someone's house, and there's a particular shot where you're chasing somebody up the staircase, and I just remember it being seeming at the time at least to be a very pretty intricate sort of shot, just in terms of what happens in the frame and in conjunction with the movement of the camera and everything. So, was that easy to pull off, or did it take a lot of tries?
Remember shooting in the house, Michael?
The so-called Richard Rubinstein house, the wealthy, and the wife's having an affair that evening and so forth.
Churchill.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Visually, we had gone out and scouted that place, and you're talking about the chase up the stairs,
right?
After Alovitsky or
yeah.
The house itself just luckily posed such interest for me in terms of angles and changing heights and direction and so forth that it was kind of a natural thing. And when it came to some of those chases, George would just, kind of give me and John a kind of guideline in general, and we'd just find a source of movement through the house, Even those scenes later where Fran is being pinned inside the closet and so forth.
Oh yeah, I love that.
There was opportunity to find room above. There was a false ceiling, and architecturally it was a very interesting house. So as opposed to your standard, climb up the stairs and a simple turn, it had a lot of interesting angles that we could utilize, and gave you that kind of complexity of movement. It's actually a very small house.
Yeah, it was. It was
very, very tiny.
Wow.
Yeah, a simple split level, and that was about it.
Todd, did you have something?
I was just going to ask what your experiences were working with Ed Harris early in his career on Night Riders and Creepshow.
Great. For me, it was tremendous. I mean, Night Riders was his first feature, if I'm not mistaken, and it was really something to watch. He was a tremendous actor. He's another one of these guys that really went in well prepared, always knew what he was doing. And that was a long shoot, and I had a lot of time on set. So I would watch other scenes being shot, and I was always trying to be there when Harris was working. So I really liked working with him, and he's a tremendous guy. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy. And I plus enjoyed killing him in Creepshow.
Yeah, I did. I watched them too. I did the same thing, in Night Riders. And you were saying about how he just would
His
wait.
intensity.
Yeah, and he would just wait to do the scene, and then all of a sudden burst.
Yeah.
Mike was telling us how he would just instead of saying, action, he would just went, he would just
Yeah, I mean,
go at his own speed.
George was wise enough to realize that, I mean, Ed was very, very method, and he would work himself out. And rather than George like breaking that moment or that pace, would just let us roll into the scene. And that one scene I described to you today, where he arrives at the fairgrounds to chastise the group, we didn't know when he was going to arrive. We were ready for him. We had all our focus marks pulled, and it was probably a distance of maybe a half a mile on his approach. I always think that's George's genius to just let that begin, let it happen. Yeah. As that became Ed's scenes, that we waited and waited, and here comes Ed Harris, and we performed the scene.
Well, I could talk to these gentlemen all day, but unfortunately,
Come
we're
on
out
over
of
to the
time.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're over in the corner
So-
in the big
Yeah.
room. So if you do have any questions, please
Yeah,
come
please
over.
do, yeah.
A round of applause.